Opening hook. Young boxer. Ethan was stunning his opponents with combat techniques learned from his elderly trainer Victor. Gym owner Preston criticized Victor's old-school methods and wanted him to switch to modern techniques. "These street fighting techniques don't work here," he said. Ethan defended Victor and narrowly avoided being kicked out. A week later, he learned that Victor "Hammer" Rodriguez was a Force Recon legend who had served 15 years in Special Forces. Saturday morning, the gym was filled with Marine boxing teams. Main story. Ethan Williams was 19 years old, raised in one of the city's toughest neighborhoods, and his introduction to boxing was purely by chance. When he was being bullied by friends during his senior year of high school, he had taken refuge in Riverside Gym. Since that day, he had been training here and working toward the professional boxing career he dreamed of. Riverside Gym was a small, run-down place in the old neighborhood. There was no modern equipment, the air conditioning didn't work, but there was the spirit of real boxing here. What had caught Ethan's attention since his first day was the gym's quiet hero, Victor Rodriguez. Victor was 58 years old, short but powerfully built. He mostly cleaned the gym, repaired equipment, and gave advice to the young people. But his most special quality was the aura he radiated when he approached the ring. He moved as if he belonged there. At first, Ethan saw Victor only as support staff, but over time, he realized that Victor knew a lot about boxing, especially what he said about footwork, timing, and mental preparation was much deeper and more effective than other trainers. Preston Hayes was the owner of Riverside Gym. He was 45 years old, business-minded, focused more on making money. Preston's vision was to modernize the gym, get new equipment, and offer scientific boxing training. He wasn't warm to Victor's old-school approaches at all. Ethan's bonding with Victor happened on a Wednesday evening. That day, Ethan had done sparring and had taken a bad defeat. His confidence was shattered. He was sitting in the corner thinking. Victor came over. "Ethan, what do you think happened in the ring today?" "I don't know, Victor. It was like none of my techniques worked. My opponent was much better than me." Victor smiled. "Technique isn't everything, son. What matters most in the ring is the mind. You entered the ring with fear today." "What do you mean?" "Look, let me teach you something. But this will stay between us. Preston won't like it." From that evening on, Ethan and Victor's private training sessions began. Victor was teaching Ethan things very different from traditional boxing techniques. The first lesson was mental preparation. Victor taught Ethan how to focus before entering the ring, how to control fear. In the ring, there's only you and your opponent. Nothing else matters. But you must first win the battle in your own mind. The second lesson was footwork. But the footwork Victor taught was different from what he had seen in normal boxing training. It was more suitable for martial arts and real fighting situations. "Ethan, just moving forward and backward in the ring isn't enough. You must move from angles your opponent can't predict." The third lesson was timing. Victor taught Ethan how to read his opponent's movements, when to attack and when to defend. Every opponent has a rhythm. The moment you break that rhythm, you gain the upper hand. The fourth lesson was psychological warfare. In the ring, mental strength is more important than physical strength. Make your opponent feel your determination. With your eyes, you must tell him, "I'm not leaving here." These private training sessions lasted 3 months. Ethan's performance in the ring began to change dramatically. He was now surprising his opponents, attacking from unexpected angles, mentally pressuring them. Other boxers at the gym noticed Ethan's development, especially the tactical intelligence and combat sense he showed in sparring surprised everyone. Preston Hayes was uncomfortable with this situation. The techniques Ethan was using were not taught in traditional boxing education. One day, after watching Ethan's training, he decided to talk to Victor. "Victor, what are you teaching Ethan?" "I'm teaching boxing, Preston." "No, this isn't boxing. This is more like street fighting techniques. His footwork is wrong. His guard position isn't standard. His psychological approach is too aggressive." Victor remained calm. "Ethan is improving. He's becoming more effective in the ring." But these techniques don't comply with modern boxing standards. I want to apply scientific methods in this gym. What you're teaching is old school." When Ethan heard this conversation, he intervened. "Preston, Victor teaches me a lot. I'm much better in the ring now." "Ethan, I understand, but I want professional standards in this gym. What Victor teaches might not be suitable for amateur level." "I don't know where I heard this before, but calling these techniques street fighting is wrong," Ethan said. "Victor teaches me mental strength and tactical intelligence." Preston got angry. "Ethan, if you want to continue training in this gym, you need to focus on modern techniques. What Victor teaches doesn't work here." Ethan gave a clear answer. "If you don't accept what Victor teaches, I won't train here either." Preston was surprised. Ethan was one of the most talented young boxers in the gym, and he didn't want to lose him. But at the same time, he wanted to maintain his authority in the gym. "Okay, Ethan, get results in the ring this weekend with what Victor taught you. If it works, I won't say anything. But if it doesn't work, we'll stop Victor's unconventional methods." That weekend, Ethan faced a more experienced and physically stronger opponent. Under normal circumstances, he was expected to lose, but he applied what Victor had taught him. In the first round of the match, he focused on getting used to his opponent's rhythm. He applied psychological pressure, as Victor had taught, and identified his opponent's weak points. In the second round, he used timing perfectly. He broke his opponent's rhythm and attacked from unexpected angles. In the third round, he established psychological dominance. His opponent could no longer predict what Ethan would do and began to stay on defense. Ethan won the match by unanimous decision. Everyone at the gym was surprised. Even Preston couldn't believe this result. After the match, Victor called Ethan over. "Ethan, I need to tell you something." "What, Victor?" I'm not just a gym employee. I'm a retired Marine. I served 15 years in Force Recon." Ethan was shocked. "Force Recon? What's that?" "Marines is elite special operations unit. We did reconnaissance, direct action, deep penetration raids, and I was my unit's hand-to-hand combat instructor." "So, you're a special forces soldier?" "Yes, my call sign was Hammer because I was very effective in close-quarter combat. What I taught you isn't just boxing techniques, it comes from real combat experience." Ethan's mouth fell open. "Why didn't you tell me until now?" "Because my past doesn't matter. What matters is what I taught you and how you use it." The next day, Preston decided to have a serious conversation with Victor. He had seen Ethan's success, but was still uncomfortable with Victor's methods. "Victor, I saw Ethan win his match, but I still don't think your techniques are suitable for modern boxing." Victor was calm. "Preston, whatever you want. I was just trying to help young people." At that moment, the gym door opened and two uniformed men entered. Both were wearing Marine uniforms and had serious expressions. "We're looking for Victor Rodriguez," said one of them. Preston was surprised. "Sir, is there a problem?" "No problem. I'm Gunnery Sergeant Martinez. This is Staff Sergeant Thompson. We came to find Victor." Victor stood up. "I'm Victor. What happened, boys?" "Victor, your friends from the unit learned you're here. They came to see you." At that moment, vehicle sounds came from outside the gym. Preston looked out the window and couldn't believe it. Outside, 4 to 5 military vehicles had parked and dozens of uniformed soldiers were getting out. "What's this?" Preston murmured. Victor smiled. "My old friends, Force Recon veterans." Nearly 20 retired and active soldiers who got out of the military vehicles entered the gym. They all greeted Victor with great respect when they saw him. "Hammer!" shouted one. "We finally found you." "Victor, we've been looking for you for 3 years," said another. A veteran officer stepped forward. "I'm Colonel Martinez, Victor's former commanding officer. This man was our unit's most effective hand-to-hand combat instructor. For 15 years, he gave combat training to thousands of Marines." Preston listened with his mouth open. The colonel continued. "Victor's nickname Hammer isn't for nothing. He's a legendary man in close-quarter combat. In Afghanistan, in Iraq, he saved our unit's lives in countless operations." Ethan looked at Victor. Now he understood. What he had been taught wasn't just boxing techniques. It was knowledge from real war experience. Gunnery Sergeant Martinez turned to Preston. "Are you the owner of this gym?" "Yes, sir." "Does Victor work here?" "Yes, he cleans and helps young people." "Good, because this man is a living legend of military hand-to-hand combat. If he's teaching combat sports here, these young people are very lucky." Colonel Martinez added, "Preston, we owe Victor a lot. He didn't just save our lives, he made us real warriors. Now young students are learning the same thing." That day, a big meeting was held at the gym. Force Recon veterans told Victor's story. Preston fully grasped who Victor was. "Victor, I'm very sorry. I didn't know who you were." Victor smiled. "Preston, the past doesn't matter. What matters is the future. These young people deserve to learn real combat skills." Colonel Martinez made an offer. "Preston, if you want, we can make this gym an official Marine Corps boxing training facility. Victor becomes head instructor, and we provide equipment and funding." Preston's eyes lit up. This was an opportunity he couldn't even dream of for his gym. Of course, this would be great. For Ethan, the real surprise came later. Colonel Martinez approached him. "Ethan, we saw what Victor taught you. You're a very talented young man. If you want, you can take part in the Marine Corps boxing team." "Really?" "Yes. And your university education can also be supported with a Marine Corps scholarship." Ethan's eyes filled with tears. Much more than what he had dreamed of had appeared before him. 6 months later, Riverside Gym was completely transformed. Modern equipment arrived, new trainers were appointed, but most importantly, Victor Hammer Rodriguez became the official head instructor. Ethan became the youngest member of the Marine Corps boxing team. While continuing his university education, he was also preparing for his professional boxing career. The best part was that his mentorship with Victor continued. Victor continued to teach not only boxing technique, but also life philosophy. "Ethan," Victor would say, "what you learn in the ring you can use in every area of your life. Discipline, focus, perseverance, mental toughness, these are important not only in sports, but everywhere." Ethan is now 20 years old, a university senior, and preparing for his professional boxing debut. On his wall hangs the Force Recon patch Victor gave him. It reads, "Swift, silent, deadly." Victor is 59 years old and raising a new generation of warriors at Riverside Gym. He's no longer secret. Everyone knows who he is, but he's still the same humble, wise mentor. Preston? He changed too. Now he focuses more on giving young people real values than making money. On the gym wall now hangs this sign, "Building Warriors, Building Character." Ethan's story isn't just a young boxer's development story. It's also a story of understanding the value of mentorship, respect, and the past. When Victor Hammer Rodriguez was cleaning at the gym that day, he knew that what he taught Ethan wasn't just boxing techniques. He was giving him life's most important lessons: respect, discipline, humility, and never giving up. Today, when Ethan enters the ring, he hears Victor's voice. "Remember, Ethan, you're not just a boxer, you're a warrior, and warriors never give up." The Force Recon motto says, "Swift, silent, deadly." But the motto Victor taught Ethan is deeper: strong, smart, respectful. This story reminds us that real teachers are sometimes found in the most unexpected places. Victor Rodriguez wasn't just cleaning at the gym, he was giving life lessons. And Ethan Williams, he's no longer just a boxer. He's a new generation warrior raised by Victor, strong in the ring, wise in life. Conclusion: Ethan Williams' story shows us that real teachers may not always be the people we expect. The old man cleaning at the gym was actually Force Recon legend Victor Hammer Rodriguez. What Ethan learned from him wasn't just boxing techniques, but life philosophy. This story shows the power of mentor-student relationships, the importance of respect, and the value of past experiences. Do you have an unexpected mentor like Victor in your life? Share with us in the comments, and if this story inspired you, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Because here we tell the stories of real warriors.